Welcome back to the Bloodbear channel. In this video, I will be doing... Oh, hold on, let me pick this up. I just finished this, Shadow of the Gods, by Gwynne. It's another series of his. It's the Bloodsworn trilogy. So yeah, I have that, and then I also just got the this second one. I got a nice one too. Look at that. It's got the stuff with the pages and cool artwork. So yeah, I have those. This is actually not going to be the next book I'm reading. I'm reading Ready Player One now. But yeah, so anyways, there is going to be spoilers in this video. So go read the book, I guess, is what I'm saying, if you don't want spoilers. So yeah, let's just jump straight in, I guess. I'm actually starting with the characters this time around. So there's only really three like main characters, and then there's the side characters in each of their respective perspectives, I guess. It's their character perspectives. So first up, we'll talk about is Orca. She's a wife and a mother, and they kind of and her and her family kind of just lived out in the middle of the woods. They had like a fence surrounding their homestead, and yeah, that's pretty much it for like what she was before. And she mainly lived peacefully there, and then she was going with her family into town, into like into a town called Feller, and then there's some happenings there. On her way there, she found a family that she knew. The parents were slain, and their child was missing, and so she also brought that up to the attention. She was going to bring that up to the Jarl, which is like the leader of the towns. But you can see my screen. Oh well, whatever. So yeah, and then but the Jarl wasn't there at the town, so but her like son or nephew was there. His name is Gwynne. He's dumb. But yeah, and then so he doesn't actually really care and doesn't really send anybody out to actually look for him. And then she gets back to, then they go back to their homestead, and they're called back because Jarl Sigrun actually arrives, and she's having a gathering because she has bent the knee to Queen Helga, who is kind of trying to conquer the entire continent and make her kingdom. So yeah, they go there, and there's a fight between Gwynne and some other person. I don't remember what his name is. I think it's like Varric or something. Or it's like Verk. I don't remember. But anyways, Verk ends up getting killed by the thrall that Sigrun had, and then Orca leaves again. Orca and her family leave again after Thorkel calms her down. And then when they're back there, Orca goes to talk to because they're thinking about moving because all these things are happening. So they were thinking about just like moving. And while Orca is going out to talk to the Froa, I think it's what they're called. They're like forest spirits. It's like kind of like dryads. But when she gets there, there's very much signs of like a battle, and the Froa was dead. I think that's what it was. I might be wrong about that. It might not be Froa. I don't know. It might start with something else, but that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, they're like forest spirits. So they died. The tree that she was like living in was burned. And then she heard a scream, ran back to her house to find Thorkel on the brink of death, and her son gone. And she has these things called Vaesen. Vaesen are kind of like, I don't know what they would be kind of like, but I mean, like, the only thing I can kind of surmise them with is like demons, because they came from like a pit, like that broke open whenever the god Snaka died. So they kind of came from like the pit of hell or something. I don't know, but they're just like different creatures and stuff that I mean, they kill and eat humans and other things, but Orca has had a pact with a Vaesen named Spurt. And he's injured, and at this point in the story, her son Brekka made friends with another Vaesen. So there's that, and then we get to she goes after them. She ends up like killing some of the people that are trying to flee. Right, they don't have her son, but they're getting ready to leave. And she kills them, leaves pretty much a young warrior alive, and he tells her a name, Drekker, before she kills him, and then she goes off to her husband's dead at this point, by the way. Like, he's dead, but she knows who killed her husband, because the thrall that Sigrun had also killed the Verk guy, and so she went to there, broke into Sigrun's house, Jarl Sigrun's house, killed her lover, then attacked the thrall, got some answers out of her that she was the one that was there and killed her husband under orders, and then Sigrun woke up and tried to attack Orca. So then Orca cut her along the face. Did not kill her, unfortunately, but so then Orca killed the thrall and then left, taking the sons of Varric. I think that's what his name was. Mord and Leaf are the sons of Varric, and they tried to get revenge. They tried to avenge their father by killing Guthvar, and they lost. So they were captured and like tied to like posts outside. So she untied them. I think she untied them first before she went in, and then told them to get a boat ready, to gather the things to get a boat ready, and then so that they took that boat off somewhere and headed to another town. I think the capital of like Queen Helga's territory is where they headed, and then they tracked down where Drekker was. Actually, I don't think she got the name Drekker yet. She got a different name, like the name of a bar or like a tavern that's in the city of Darl. I think is what the city is called. So she goes there. She finds out where this tavern is, and then that's where she finds the children being like a bunch of children that are like chained up are being put onto a boat. And then, so she kills those two guards and gets into a fight. At this point, Mord and Leaf, like, they separated. And she gets into a fight. Then Drekker comes out. Like, there's, like, 12 guys. She kills a good chunk of them. But she's losing the fight, pretty much. And luckily, Mord and Leaf show up. They kill, I think, 2 of them before getting Orca onto their horses and leaving. So yeah, there's more to that story, but anyways, they then question the guy, find out where Drekker went, and then they leave again. Guthvar and a bunch of other people are chasing them. They manage to escape. Then they get to another place called the Grimholt, and stuff, where then they are captured and Guthvar kills Mord, and Orca escapes, frees Leaf, then kills pretty much everyone there. And yeah, that's pretty much her whole story there. So then Elvar is a younger woman, I believe. She is very I don't know how to describe that, but she's very like she wants to be famous, pretty much. Like, battle fame is a very popular thing in this world. Everybody wants battle fame. And the reason why she wants like her own battle fame, you know. So because her father is a jarl of a town. He's actually a very powerful jarl as well. So her father is Jarl Stor, and he planned on marrying Elvar to Queen Helka's son, Hakon, and through that marriage, they would have, united their houses, and Hakon would be king, Elvar would be queen. But Elvar didn't really like that much because she did not want to just be some, in her words, breeding bitch, a bastard son. Well, she didn't say bastard, but I don't remember what she called him. But yeah, so then she left with her kind of like shield man that's been with her since she was like young. His name was Gwynne. They left and joined the Battle Grimm, which are like mercenaries. They're mercenaries and they're slavers, led by a guy named Agnar. And then eventually she gets to an island because they're tracking somebody, and she kills a troll, getting some battle fame with them. And then they go back. This is like years later, by the way, so she hasn't been home in years. And so they go back to the town, which is called Snakovic, I believe, and then they sell one of the husband of a woman that they were looking for. So they captured the entire family, and they sold the husband because basically he's a thing called tainted. We'll get into that more when we talk about like the world building and stuff. But yeah, so basically the tainted are like being hunted and enslaved, pretty much. So yeah, the guy that they were looking for was tainted, and his wife is also tainted. Therefore, their child is also tainted. And basically, they sell him. Then when they get back, the son was captured by a group called the Raven Feeders, which are also mercenaries and things like that. And then they go ahead and so then instead of tracking them, well, they run down and see them go away on a boat, pretty much. And so yeah, then they get back and Vol is there. No, not Vol. Vol is a different person. Uspa, that's her name, Uspa, or Uspa. I don't know how you pronounce it. I always pronounced it Uspa or Uspa or something like that. She's like a Sather witch, so she does magic, and she makes them all. So she knows how to get to this like legendary place. Like, it's like the World Tree from like Norse mythology, I guess. It's called Oskutreth, I believe. Is how you pronounce that, maybe. But yeah, so then she is able to guide them there, and but the only reason she's going to do that is because they swore the oath to if that she led them there, then they would help her get her son back. And because of this, because she's a Sather witch and she knows magic, she sealed it with the blood oath. So if they don't actually go through with that oath, they would die, pretty much. So yeah. So then the rest of the story for Elvar is pretty much them going to find Oscartreth, at least in this book, and then once they're there, the Raven Feeders are following them. They get into this, and the Raven Feeders are actually like Dragonborn, tainted, that have been stealing children all around the continent, and they're also the ones responsible for stealing Orca's son. And the reason why they wanted that is because the children apparently were part of a spell to release one of the last gods that's alive, Leek Rifa. Anyways, so once they arrive, so with their massive group, the Battlegrim are fighting them, or they're not fighting them yet. Agnar fights this other guy in like a one-on-one combat to kind of decide what's going to happen. Agnar wins, but then Beor, who is Elvar's lover at the time, he's apparently also tainted, we learn. And we learned that kind of a little bit after. Well, we learned it before, but we don't know who, because there's a Froa spirit there that says that there's 4 tainted, and we know 3 of those. So there's one other that's not, that we don't know. And it ends up being Beor. Beor betrays Agnar, kills him after he won the fight, and then they actually get into, the Raven Feeders and the Battlegrim get into an actual fight, where they then use the children and successfully do the spell and freed the god Leek Rifa. And that's pretty much the conclusion of that. And after that, they pretty much just leave. They don't care if if there's other Battlegrim still alive or anything like that. So they straight up just leave. Anyways, last readable perspective character in this book is Varg. He was a thrall, which is like a slave, and he escaped his master because he was working on a farm and stuff, and he was looking for either a Sather witch or a Galderman. Both of those can perform a call, which lets you see somebody's last moments of life, basically. So you can see how the person died. Anyways, this leads Varg to the Bloodsworn, which are like basin hunters. They're also kind of like mercenaries. And the Bloodsworn are led by Glornir, who is the husband of a thrall, Vol. Basically, she's a thrall. I think she's only a thrall because, like, unlike the rest of the Tainted, Sather witches can't actually conceal that they're Sather witches, because I think they have like some sort of like tattoos and stuff, or like markings on their body. So she had to wear a thrall collar so that people would think that she's a thrall, right? Because most people wouldn't want to see one of the Tainted walking around without a thrall collar. Anyways, so yeah, and he is also the brother-in-law to Orca, because Thorkel was Glornir's brother. So yeah, then Varg, basically he gets into a fight because there's like they're looking for a new member to join. So he fights this guy named Einar Half Troll. He loses, then he goes and sets up camp, and the son of his old master, Kolskeg, finds him and is about to chop off his hand and drag him back to be a slave again. And then because basically what happened was he was like doing these like pit fights for Kolskeg, and Kolskeg basically said, it's like, well, if you make me enough money and become the champion of these pit fighting ring, then I will set you free. And then he basically, after that, was like, no way, you make me so much money, there's no way in hell I'm going to set you free. So then Varg gets like enraged. And there's this common thing where all of the like tainted from the that have blood of like the wolf god Ulfrir, or like get this like blood red mist like vision in their eyes whenever they get angry and stuff, and they can turn into like a wolfman hybrid, I guess. Like their teeth get sharper, their senses get sharper, and stuff like that. So we find out much later that he's actually one of those. So yeah, where was I? So the Bloodsworn actually end up saving Varg, and they take him on as an apprentice because they have to know if they can trust him and stuff. So then Varg is taken there, and then pretty much another guy from across the pond is trying to get one of the Bloodsworn on trial for murder. So then, but he doesn't have like the evidence gathered, so can't do that. So then the Bloodsworn are trying to leave before they actually are able to present a case, but they are stopped by that guy. So then they get into a little bit of a fight there. And what was I saying? So Varg kills somebody, and then is like the first person he actually like killed, and like it's like his first like actual fight with weapons and stuff. So he forgets to put on his helmet, and then he like drops his helmet pretty much because he can't get it undone from like the clasp on his side, and then he forgets to take off the like leather wrapping on his spearhead. So then he tries to stab up at the guy and then fails, which is funny. So then he has to hop onto the horse and stab him with like the little blade that he had, like a knife. It's like an actual like Viking weapon that was used. Like it's called like a seax, like it's SEAX, so CX or something. And it's like a long blade, pretty much. So it's like a knife, but a little bit longer. It's used for various things. So yeah, he uses that to kill the guy, and then, anyways, he gets so he's on the ship, and then they get a assignment from Queen Helka to investigate the disappearances of many of her people in the north that have been happening. So, and for this mission, they take a golden wren named Skalk, and he has 2 bodyguards, Yrsa and Ulfir. Anyways, they find out what's been happening. They see a bunch of thralls and Vaesen and stuff using these thralls to like dig out something, I think, and they then fight them. It turns out that they're being led by a dragonborn who actually has like a sword that's like was made out of like a claw from one of the dead gods, and therefore it's very powerful. And so they're digging out a chamber that one of the gods was in, and that one was like the rat god named Rota. Anyways, Glornir is the one fighting the Dragonborn with the bone blade, and he's very much losing. So then Vol steps in and Wrights, which is his wife, and like casts a spell to like kind of shield him for a bit before, but that's kind of failing. So before that fails completely, Varg jumps in his like rage, and it manages to kill the Dragonborn during their fight. With like he basically loses all his other weapons. He just has like this cleaver, and he smacks it right in the guy's head. But the guy was the Dragonborn was like mid swing, so he still like cuts into Varg on the side because of the momentum of the swing. So then Varg gets like tossed aside and is knocked unconscious, and then whenever he wakes up, Vol is obviously very grateful, and then she's asking him about the occult that he once performed, and he tells her, hesitantly at first, about his sister and all that. Because that's the reason why he wants the occult, is so he can find out what happened to his sister. Because he doesn't know if she's dead, but in his mind, he felt like this connection with her, to where if she felt happy, he would feel that she felt happy. So then one day he felt pain, and then nothing. So he thinks that she's dead, and then so that's why he wants the call, so he can know what happened and then avenge his sister. And then so he tells him all that, and then he says, "Are you going to perform this for me?" And she says, "I would like to, but that's up to Glornir, because he's the boss." So yeah, but before that happens, boom, smash in the door. Skulk smacks Vol in the head, and then knocking her out. Then Yrsa kills Torvik, who was Varg's pretty much. He was his fellow apprentice and Varg's pretty much only friend. He's not his only friend on the crew, but they were good friends. And they actually just Varg actually just realized that he was friends with Torvik, so he immediately gets stabbed in the throat and dies. And then Skulk asks Varg to join him. After you just captured somebody that could have helped him and killed his friend, then you ask him to join him, and saying that it's if you follow me, I will perform that call for you. And as far as he actually almost agreed, because finding out what happened to his sister is very important to him. But you just murdered his friend in front of him, so he obviously doesn't agree, or he acts like he is going to, and basically asks for help, assistance getting up so that he could walk. So then Olvir goes up to help him, but instead Varg pulls him down and bites it, tears out his throat with his teeth, pretty much, which is badass considering Varg just got out of a fight and almost died there. But then he gets kicked in the side where he got stabbed, where he got cut, and gets knocked out from the pain. And then they all leave. Skulk and Yrsa with Vol leave, and they're going to use Vol as an actual thrall, pretty much, because he literally said, "This powerful Sather witch will make a very good thrall for me." Is actually what he said. So then they leave, and the Bloodsworn follow him afterwards, and they track him down to Grimholt, where he was, and he actually questioned Orca before they died, before she broke her bonds and started killing everybody. So yeah, and then Orca, they get into it after Orca already killed everyone. It's everybody there is so she's covered in guts and blood and bits of bone, and then there's just a bunch of children around her staying close as to not, because she saved them pretty much. And that's when we learn that Glornir and Orca know each other, and she's actually referred to as Skull Splitter, which we've heard before was the previous, Skull Splitter was the name of the previous leader of the Bloodsworn. So I don't know if that's Orca or if that's, I'm pretty sure that means that's Orca, because we also saw in the Orca chapters that she had some flashbacks to previous battles and stuff. So we knew that she fought at some point. So yeah, and also we learned that all of the Bloodsworn are tainted. We learned that a little bit earlier after the stuff with Skulk happens, and Varg learns that he's also tainted. So that's pretty much everything. I scored characters a 9 out of 10, by the way, because I liked them a lot. Elvar was actually my least favorite. It probably goes Varg, Orca, then Elvar. Mainly because Varg does not I'm pretty sure literally Orca does not like slavery. Varg also does not like slavery. Elvar is the only one who was actually kind of okay with it because she was fine with selling the one dude as a slave. So, anyways, we'll move on to plot. Plot, I pretty much did the same. It's 9 out of 10. I thought it was a very good story, and I enjoyed reading it. It actually took me longer to get through this than it did some of the Malice book, like some of the Faithful and the Fallen books. But I think that's mainly because of my school stuff. So I had like finals and stuff at the time. So that's probably why it took me longer. So some days I just didn't pick it up to read. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I pretty much covered the plot and the character section as well, because obviously the plot follows the characters and what they get into. So I had to, and for the characters, like growth and stuff, I had to talk about that, because Varg grew because he was very much just one focused on his sister, but then he's like, okay, I actually have friends in this group, I can't just betray them like that, right? So we see that stuff. So 9 for there, for plot as well, 9 out of 10. And I actually gave world building, because we're moving on to world building, a 9 out of 10 as well. I actually thought that this had better world building than in the Faithful and the Fallen series that I read. So he's improving. So basically the world is like, there's a bunch of gods. Most of them are dead except for the dragon god Ligrifa. Long ago there was a conflict between the gods called the God's Fall or Guthfalla, where the gods kind of killed each other, and then you had a snake god named Snaga, who's like kind of like Jormungandr. He's like a massive snake from like Norse mythology. He's a world serpent. He died, and when he died, he like boom, cracked open the earth, made the Vaesen pit, and then his bone, like as he decayed, earth would like, from I guess like dust storms, would just like cover his body, and that would form some mountains that go horizontally across the the continent. So whenever he died, that opened up the Vaesen pit, and magma was flowing through the Vaesen pit, which is why all the Vaesen came up onto Earth. And then people use runes, either runes carved into like the city walls or like town walls, to protect from Vaesen, or they settle by the bones of the dead gods, because those also emit like a power that Vaesens don't like to get near. Other than that, then there's the Tainted. The Tainted are actually just like humans that have some of the blood of the dead gods running in their veins, and the reason why people are hunting them is because they fought in the battle between the God's Fall or Guthfalla, which almost destroyed the world, at least in their legends, and that's why. And originally they would hunt them down and kill them, but now, recently, in times, they have actually just been enslaving them ever since they found the chain that bound Ulfrir, the wolf god. They find links to that chain and then make them into thrall collars and speak words of power that will send up searing pain to the thrall that is on their neck. So yeah, and then the Tainted they basically look like normal humans, but they can transform into a more whatever per like God's blood that they have in them. So like for Orca and Varg, they can transform into like wolves, and then for Glornir, since he is tainted with the blood of the bear god, he can transform to like a bear and stuff. Now these transformations are hard to control, basically because they happen whenever you're in the life or death situation, so that's why they're kind of hard to control. Varg has pretty much controlled it very well. though, for most of his life until recently when he actually transformed during his fight with the Dragonborn. So yeah, that's a 9 out of 10 there. Emotional impact is the next section. I actually gave this a 8 out of 10. There were sometimes where I was like, oh wow. Mainly when Brekka got captured, Orca's son is Brekka, and the betrayal of Bior and Skalk were quite surprises as well. And then there are also really cool moments with Varg and Orca's fighting were awesome. They're very much badasses. Elvar to me wasn't as interesting as Varg or Orca. Her most, I guess, emotional impacted section was kind of when Gwynne almost died, and when the kid, Bjarn, I think he's Bjarn, which is Espa's son, got stolen. That's basically her most emotional impact stuff that happened there. But yeah. Okay, that's it pretty much for emotional impact. And structure is our final topic there, which also gets a 9 out of 10 because it's structured like a normal book, right? It's got the chapters end, and it's structured like that. So yeah. I mean, it did, in the beginning, to me, it kind of felt like it dragged a bit, but I don't think that was much of an issue. I think that might have just been an issue on my part because it took me longer to read because of school and stuff. But I don't know. I still gave it a 9 out of 10 because I thought it structured pretty well. So yeah. Now in the conclusion, the final score ended up being a 4.4 out of 5. I very much enjoyed it. Even it took me a bit longer to read. But yeah, like I said, mostly due to me having to study for finals and other things. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. So yeah, see you in the next one, I guess.